Hello, Monica here. Today we'll explore strategies to help ENFPs boost their organization and discipline. How do these naturally creative and free-spirited individuals maintain structure in their lives? To understand how an ENFP can do this, first, they need to understand how their mind operates and why they have more difficulties with certain tasks. Before that, they need to discard any thoughts about discipline as most people teach it and erase the traditional image of a person who is just laser focused on one thing. They need to work with their natural abilities, not against them. Natural abilities for an ENFP include being a multitasker, searching for a million new possibilities, having a natural creative flow, and operating in chaos. It doesn't mean that they can't be focused on one task. Of course they can, but they need to approach it from their natural state, the ENFP state. So, what is an ENFP state? Imagine that each one of the 16 personalities is a team with 4 players. Each player is a cognitive function. So, an ENFP usually operates with the following 4 functions. The first one is the star, the go-to player they're really good at. Then, there is the second player, not as dominant, but still reliable. Going down the list, the third player is weaker, but has its strengths. And the fourth player is the underdog. Together, they make up the unique personality lineup. Now, here's the cool part. Every personality has a unique hierarchy of 8 functions, and this is what makes each personality different. If you'd like to know more about the basics of cognitive functions, I go into more detail about this in my video titled MBTI 16 Personalities Explained. So, when you see someone performing something, for example, a laser-focused behavior, is their cognitive functions playing their own special game. What makes up an ENFP personality? ENFP's main functions are extraverted intuition, exploring new ideas and possibilities, introverted feeling, their morals, emotions, extraverted thinking, making decisions based on statistics, gathering data, and introverted sensing, their own experience, past memory. You don't need to know more about each function now, but I will use them to explain an ENFP's personality a bit so you can have a picture of it. So, when an ENFP sets out to focus on a single task, it looks like this. A vibrant array of ideas and thoughts fills their mind, extraverted intuition, then they feel, the word feel is very important here, a wave of inspiration compelling them to create. They feel like making something, and they already feel like they're doing it in their imagination, introverted feeling, and then they decide to go in that direction, extraverted thinking, and then they decide about the specifics, but then, boom, just as they gain momentum, they find themselves back where they started, overwhelmed by a new wave of innovative ideas, extraverted intuition. This cycle of extraverted intuition dominating, leading to a flurry of new concepts, causes them to abandon their initial commitment. And then again, they go through the same process. A new idea, extraverted intuition, checking in with their feelings, introverted feeling, organizing and planning, extraverted thinking, and then boom, another new idea interrupts, extraverted intuition. They find themselves living more in fantasies, as extraverted intuition and introverted feeling overshadow their other functions. Their plans remain mental constructs, never quite materializing in reality. This is akin to mental gymnastics. Riding a wave of dopamine, they experience the thrill of planning without actual execution. Consequently, their self-trust erodes as they seem to relinquish their ideas repeatedly. The key for an ENFP is to find equilibrium within their personality, not by combating their dominant function or forcing the weaker ones, but by valuing and harmonizing each one. So, what to do? We start from the very beginning. Their main function is extraverted intuition. Extraverted intuition looks for new possibilities, new theories, and new perspectives. They need to satisfy it. They shouldn't ignore it, but also they shouldn't let it overpower them. Extraverted intuition is for gathering, not for organizing. Extraverted intuition is like the air that they're in, and it devours everything that is outside of them. So their environment is very important. When there is a new idea, they usually feel the urge to make theories about it, to explore it. When they have output issues, it is because they have input issues. They should ask themselves questions. Do I talk to wise people? Do I have good examples of how to work? Do I have people that I can copy next to me? Do I read? They need the air to be clean. Usually, when they satisfy their extroverted intuition with ideas, theories, and good examples, they're more motivated. If they're not motivated and fed up with good stuff, then they're just slow and not eager to do anything. So first, they need to have clean air and care about their surroundings. They might also think that they can't focus because they have too many ideas and thoughts in their head, so they want to throw them out, meaning they want to ignore their extroverted intuition. They shouldn't do it. They need to make a smooth switch. They shouldn't try to get rid of all of those thoughts and make an instant switch to laser focus and structure when there is no structure to begin with. They are not a structure type. So what they need to do is gather all of those ideas and possibilities together, sit with all of that chaos in their head, because they can't operate in chaos, and then start from whatever they feel. Start from the end, from the beginning, from the middle. Then do all of these things at once, so only then a bit of structure will enter into their life. Switching from chaos to laser focus is just overwhelming and too big a force. Also, they're multitaskers, not monotaskers. And it's not a bad thing. The more they need to do, the better they will perform. They need to do it their way to make it work, so they won't block their natural flow. They should allow themselves to be more chaotic at the very beginning, so they will start from their positive side, extroverted intuition. If they were to start from the structure that they force, they would probably come back to chaos or distractions because their extroverted intuition is not satisfied. They should create the chaos to serve them. If they won't get into their extroverted intuition first, they will not be inspired. So, they don't need to start from the beginning, and they don't need to choose one direction first. For example, if they wake up feeling disorganized, but need to do math, and they hate math, they should engage in something exciting before attempting the less appealing task. There are surely other things that they are naturally interested in and are based on focus. So they shouldn't do math first. They should do the things that they are literally excited to do before doing math. Maybe they're interested in supernatural things. Perhaps they like listening to some audiobooks about conspiracy theories. They should find something that they are eager to do. Reading a book about supernatural things will make a natural switch in their brain to focus and enter monotasking mode. And when they have that kind of focused state, then they can start doing math. This way, they won't force it. Doing enjoyable monotasking activities before is the key. They should use their natural abilities, satisfy their extroverted intuition's desire to be stimulated by abstract theories, and they will naturally enter a flow state. They just need to ensure that the pre-focus activity is something they enjoy and is not a multitasking activity. So, when their extroverted intuition is covered, they have to deal with their introverted feeling. Introverted feeling is their function when they operate with their emotions. Time management can be related to emotion management. Their self-criticism, self-esteem, the need for attention, bad feelings, all of these can influence their time management. So, they're not feeling like doing something and they choose something that blurs their mind more, perhaps because they're not feeling well or inspired. ENFPs avoid doing something just because they don't feel like doing it right now. ENFPs have introverted feeling in the second position, so their own emotions play a key role when it comes to making a decision, such as whether to start doing something or not. So, what is the solution for that? Self-care. Every day they need to take care of themselves. They need to prioritize that even before the task, because while they neglect their health in the long run, they won't be productive either way. They will experience only moments or a few days of temporary inspiration. They should notice when they feel better, after exercise, after socializing, after calling someone, after a walk. Maybe they need to even work on their traumas or go to therapy for their well-being. They need to integrate their emotions and different parts of themselves that scream while they ignore it. ENFPs are all about the process, so when they don't feel it that much, they are less prone to do it, as simply as that. Introverted feeling is also where their morals lie. They should ensure that they understand why they want to pursue their plans and identify their values. Establishing a strong baseline is essential to keep them on track. For an ENFP, it's all about what feels right. If something doesn't click with what they believe in, it's really tough for them to push through just for the sake of getting it done. That's why it's super important for ENFPs to really get why they want to do something and what matters to them. Knowing what they stand for can keep them on track. It's like if ENFPs don't vibe with what they're doing, they probably won't do it. They need that meaning behind their actions. So, checking in on what's important to them is key. ENFPs are dreamers and get a lot of energy from their big ideas and the good feelings that come with them, which gets them moving. That's why it's a good move for ENFPs to make it a regular thing to think about why they're doing what they're doing. If they haven't figured out their main goal yet, that's okay. Keeping their core values in mind works just as well. It's like having a personal compass that helps them navigate life's ups and downs. By doing this, they can be sure they're always being true to themselves no matter what. Their extraverted thinking is their third function. Extraverted thinking is about organizing, setting goals, and achieving. While they're not that advanced at using extraverted thinking, they need to have at least some structure. They shouldn't expect themselves to have the same structure as someone with extraverted thinking in the first place. But they still have that function, so they need to use it. Otherwise, the tornado of thoughts and perspectives of extraverted intuition completely eats them up. People with dominant extraverted thinking have a structure in everything because they feel uncomfortable without it. But ENFPs will feel uncomfortable with too much of it. They can't think about what's next all the time because their extraverted intuition is stronger and it will cause only another tornado of thoughts and ideas. Having a step-by-step plan is essential. It helps them focus so they're not constantly worrying about what comes next. Without a clear direction, their extraverted intuition might take them in a million different directions. It's important to remember that plans can be flexible. They can still be creative and make adjustments as needed, but they also need concrete details about when and where they'll take action. If they don't set a specific time for their tasks, they risk remaining just daydreaming. Without applying their extroverted thinking to bring these ideas into the real world, they'll stay in the realm of imagination. It's the act of setting plans into motion that transforms thoughts into tangible results. Again, being super organized isn't the goal here. It's about setting up a sequence of steps. What's the next things to do? What comes before it? Often ENFPs can craft what seems like the perfect plan and get really excited about it, yet when it comes down to the check reality questions like when and where, things can get a bit hazy. It's important to keep an eye on this. Regularly lining up their plan with the real world helps make sure their ideas don't just stay ideas, but become things they actually do. But they might ask, and so what? I had a plan and a date and still can't make it, didn't stick to the plan. In that situation, they should revisit point 1, Extraverted Intuition, and point 2, Introverted Feeling. Do they genuinely know what they want to do? Or are they clear on their values? Do they understand the why behind their actions? They should remind themselves of the precise reasons driving their plan. Perhaps they're doing something to feel better for their family, for society and the world, or simply to be a good human and set a positive example. They need to understand their why. It's possible that their motivation is not strong enough for them. Think of extroverted thinking like a sponge that soaks up what others think and imitates them. They, with their ability to be like a big encyclopedia, can learn a lot from wise people around them or by reading books. They are good at rational thinking, but not at logical thinking, so it's helpful to be around people who can fact-check and inspire them. Let's talk about their last team player, Introverted Sensing. Introverted Sensing is all about enduring and remembering past experiences. Now, this might not come naturally to them, but for them, it's like saying what happened before will happen again. Introverted Sensing is great for building habits, and for ENFPs, taking small steps is very helpful. At first, doing something they don't like might feel awful, but after a few tries, those actions get stored in their Introverted Sensing memory. They start realizing they can do it, and it feels better each time. Introverted Sensing is also good at learning from past actions. They should take a moment to think about what they've done, what worked, what didn't. They can try using Peterson's method and, at the end of the day, ask themselves, what's one thing I'm doing wrong, that I know I'm doing wrong, that I could fix, that I would fix? When did they feel good about themselves? Was it after talking to someone, hanging out, or maybe after exercising? They should remember not to beat themselves up. Feeling ashamed isn't helpful. It actually stops them from being productive. Shame makes them feel bad, triggering their introverted feeling, and then they end up stuck in a loop. Introverted Sensing is all about their own experiences. They really learn when they go through something themselves. Conclusions come naturally when something happens in their real life. So, the experiences they give themselves matter a lot. So, in summary, to enhance productivity as an ENFP, they need to embrace multitasking, creativity, and a preference for chaos. 1. Input issues lead to output issues. They should satisfy extroverted intuition with ideas, theories, and good examples. Clean their mental environment by engaging with wise people, good examples, and inspiring content. Embrace chaos initially for a smoother transition into a focused state. 2. Learn how to manage emotions. They should prioritize daily self-care and understand what activities make them feel better. Identifying their values provides a strong baseline. They should avoid shame and understand their why. 3. Create a step-by-step plan. They should develop a flexible plan with specific timelines and sequences. Confront it with reality by considering when and where and the sequence of activities. They don't need a strict routine, but they need to know the directions and the answer to the basic questions like when at least. 4. Build habits with Introverted Sensing. They should start with small steps and expose themselves to new experiences. Learn from past actions, analyze behavior, and use methods like Peterson's for self-improvement. After watching this video, they shouldn't take all of these as it's in my nature to be unproductive. ENFPs can be very disciplined, constantly moving towards their goals. But being productive doesn't mean having every little thing in its place or having a plan for every hour. Being productive means efficiently achieving goals by effectively using time, energy, and resources. While they're trying to be organized and productive, not in their own way, they don't use their resources effectively. They're only blocking their natural flow. So, they should use it their way, the ENFP way. That's it. Thanks for watching.